President Trump continues to talk about what to do to keep our schools safe. Gun control, not gun control, arming teachers. The question is, a lot are starting to say he's been on all different sides of the issue. Does he favor more gun control or not? Ashley Johnson has the full story. Ashley?
In the midst of the nor'easter, Governor Phil Murphy returned to New Jersey after giving a sneak peek of his first budget at the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce's annual Walk to Washington event at the nation's capital. In D.C., Murphy expressed his support for stricter gun control laws. To the surprise of those on both sides of the aisle, so did President Donald Trump. But late Thursday, he tweeted that he had had a good time with the NRA. Murphy read to first graders in the afternoon at James Monroe Elementary School in Edison in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday. He took a brief minute beforehand to speak on the weather.
Things that we're worried about and focused on are obviously a pretty nasty cocktail of high winds, heavy rain, you got high tides early and then late, and snow beginning in more places than not.
The governor said his office was working closely with state police and the Office of Emergency Management. Widespread powder outages were reported throughout the day.
Big concerns that I would express would be downed power lines. So if you're in a car or worse, or more importantly, if you're on foot, be very careful. Obviously, be very careful driving.
Bill, the governor's time certainly spoke to him being a dad and showing his soft side. He read Dr. Seuss's favorite book to the children, The Lorax, and said one of the biggest takeaways of the book is protecting the environment. In Edison, I'm Ashley Johnson, reporting for Chasing News.
Thank you, Ashley. All right, let's bring back the A-plus panel. Matt Rooney, Lisa Durden, and Jacqueline Rosa. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll start with you, Lisa.
Yes.
So I think the media takes some things very so far out of context that they've almost created a conflict for the president. I don't know that he's come down on any specific policy initiative other than talking about arming certain teachers.
Well, that's the problem. Why hasn't he? The president is a pathological liar. Do you want gun control or not? Now, people are going to think I'm weird. I'm one of those weird liberals that feel like
we're probably not going to agree a lot on this segment, are we?
No, that's off the rails already.
Okay.
So I'm a liberal who does believe in the right to bear arms. I do believe in that. However, people keep trying to say that these individuals are crazy and they're mentally ill. Cruz is not mentally ill, and the facts are most mentally ill people don't kill people.
Matt, you're making a face. I think you go back over the past several, maybe even a dozen school shooters, and there was a link to all kinds of antipsychotic drugs and antidepressants. Clearly, there's some issue, especially with Cruz. Is this a gun control issue, or is this a guy that was out there for 7 years with law enforcement visiting with him and never got on anybody's radar?
Look, first of all, Bill, we need lunatic control before we need gun control, before we even get to that discussion. Because as you correctly point out, every single time one of these kids shoots up a school, a billion people, the police, the local authorities, their teachers, knew they were crazy. They knew they were a ticking time bomb. And to that point, why are we even talking about gun control, giving the government more power, when the government has utterly failed to protect these kids, including 39 visits at this kid's house and nothing happened?
Jacqueline,
why would we take our guns away and give them to them?
Point? I mean, you've got law enforcement involved. Certainly the Broward County Sheriff's Department was way down in the job. And what about identifying these kids when, I mean, this kid, they've known about him for 7 years. He was pretty young when they first identified him. Nobody did anything.
I can see both sides of the argument. Yes, they did drop the ball. But I also agree with Lisa.
Thank you very much.
It's a mental health issue, but okay, if you have someone that's mentally ill, get them help, but don't enable them with a semi-automatic rifle. I agree. You have the right to bear arms, but
right, I agree with that too.
Let's talk about using what the Constitution was actually meant for back in the day, which was one musket. Okay, you want to bear arms? You get a musket.
Does it say
one
musket in the
that's what you get.
Constitution, Bill? Did you see that in the Bill of Rights?
I didn't see it. I definitely didn't.
Now, one of these shootings we've talked about, adults or kids, has been committed by an NRA member.
And most murders don't happen by people who are mentally ill. That's a fact. Right. So stop blaming the mentally ill people.
And most of those murders happen in liberal cities.
Do you think there is something to be said for sharing mental health issues? I mean, most of the states are not cooperating with the federal government.
Mental health issues in the same.
And we don't know. You shouldn't let a person's mentally ill buy a gun, right?
Mental health issues in the same conversation as gun control don't go together. That's like oil and water. It doesn't match.
Maybe that's the problem. All right, gotta leave it there. Thank you.